Mr. Telephone Man. I forgot eye cream. All right, so I am gonna get started. So for today, I'm doing just a quick everyday natural look using pretty affordable products. So I just got started with the Fresh Lotus Moisturizer. So this is gonna help the makeup look really smooth. So first, I'm gonna get started by priming the face. I'm using the Fenty primer just to help mattify me a little bit. So this is probably going to be like my first, well, this is my second video in this group, but it's been a while since I've done one. I think that was probably like a year and a half ago. So I'm going to get that primer going. And welcome to my few viewers that I have. Let me know where you're from. So, I've primed with the Fenty. Now I'm going to use the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. So this is just going to help me fill in my pores a little bit. And let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me okay. So I'm just going to press that into my pores. So for my complexion, I am going to get into a few products. So I am going to use the Nars, what is this? The Soft Matte Concealer in Amande. And I'm just going to use this for any blemishes. So just a few around here. And I'm just going to do this just to even the skin tone out before I jump right into my tinted moisturizer. And while I'm doing this, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Christina, or you can just call me Chris. I am from Chicago, born and raised, so let me know where you're from. I would say I'm not a newbie to makeup, but you know, I have a little bit of experience under my belt. So, my skin is nice and even. Is it Alicia? Welcome, you're from North Carolina? Okay. And then I'll probably do just a little bit of concealer over there. Like right here. Welcome. All right. So for my base, I'm going to use the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. And my shade, I'm wearing 8.5. So I like this whenever I'm trying to do something really quick, very natural. It gives me medium to, I would say medium coverage. So I am going to use one of my Bare Minerals brushes just to give me a nice even coverage. And you'll probably see me looking down into my mirror. So I just pat it on a little bit. Now I usually always tell people whenever you want more coverage, use a brush. Like a beauty blender is fine and dandy, but your brush is definitely going to give you that coverage where you need it the most. Like for me, my problem areas are right over here. Okay. So I think I got pretty good coverage on the cheeks. My philosophy when it comes to creating a very natural, even base is less is more. So I tend to do just a little bit of quite a few products versus going in with the whole bunch. What are some products you all are using right now for your foundation? And definitely bring it down. And notice I haven't put any foundation or tinted moisturizer on the forehead. That's just because that's not where I need a lot of coverage. Put the coverage where you feel like you need it the most. So I usually, when I tell people about foundations for their complexion, I usually don't say go straight and get a full coverage foundation. You can either do something sheer and build it up and put a powder on top, or even medium coverage, or even use your concealers, but I just don't think that anyone needs full coverage all over. And I did my eyebrows off camera. Okay. Let me take a look. So that's looking nice and smooth. Like granted, it's not full coverage. You can still see a little bit peeking through underneath, but I'm fine with that because I'm going to go on top with the powder as well. So for my under eye concealer, I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty Profilt'r concealer, and I'm using the shade 360. So something that's close to my skin tone, but just a little bit brighter. And I'm putting the majority of the coverage right in this inner corner here. Then other areas that I typically like to conceal, right above the lip. And then a little bit on the chin. To blend it out, I'm going to use my favorite, oh, excuse me, that is dirty, my favorite sponge. This is from Sonia Kashuk, so you can definitely grab this from Target. And I want to say it's probably like $7 or something like that, $6 or $7, versus doing a beauty blender, which is 20 bucks. And I think I like this a lot more because it's pretty big. And so I tap it in, and I usually tap around. And then notice I still have a good amount of concealer under the eye. Now I'm just going to go and tap it in. Welcome to my new viewers. Let me know where you're from. And for those that just joined, based off of my accent, where do you think I'm from? And don't cheat and look at my profile. Okay. Whatever's left on the sponge from that concealer, that's what I put on the nose. Because I usually don't like too much concealer on my nose because I'm oily. So I'm more so T-zone oily. So forehead, nose, cheeks, chin. So now that that's blended out. Hi, Ebony from Nashville. What's the weather there? So I just went in and added a little bit more. Okay, so I'm nice and blended out. Now I know you normally see the posts where people go straight in with a whole bunch of concealer and then you have to work like for, 10 minutes just to blend it out. I don't really like that, so I like to just blend in layers. Hi, Katrina from North Carolina. Got a lot of people from North Carolina. So next I am going to, it's 55 degrees. That's much better than here. I think it's like 20-something degrees here. So next I am going to go and set my under eye. Now I'm going to use the Fenty powder and banana. So I'm not sure if you ladies ever tried this powder out. This one definitely less is more. So I'm just going to use it to set the under eye, but I definitely wouldn't recommend baking with it, or else you're going to be casket ready. And not because of the color, just the formula is really dry. So I am just taking out just a little bit. And I'm going to grab, let's do this brush. So this is just a little brush from BH Cosmetics. And I'm just gonna pat that in. And then I do put powder on my nose. And if you're oily, I definitely recommend taking a little bit of powder and setting your brows too. Because I am definitely oily in my eyebrows. And once again, I did my brows off camera. I just used the pencil really quickly to fill them in. And then I did clean them up. And if you're ever looking for a good brow pencil, I am using the, what is this? L'Oreal Brow Styler Definer. And this is like 10 bucks, but Anastasia is 20 something. So I think that's a pretty good deal. So just to recap, we've concealed, we've evened out the complexion. I used the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue just for a little bit of coverage. And then we brightened under the eye, set using the Fenty powder. Now I'm going to go and give myself just a little bit of extra coverage on the face. And I'm going to use another L'Oreal product. Clearly, I'm trying to get be done with this product because I've used it up a lot. So I'm going to use another flat brush and I'm just going to lightly tap in and just press into the skin where you feel like you still need that extra coverage. So if you feel like it's your forehead that needs the extra coverage, then use it there. If it's the cheeks, for me it's the chin and a little bit on the cheeks. And then make sure you bring it down. Now my neck is a little bit darker than like my face and chest, so I just try to bring it down just a little bit. Now let's take a look. Nice and even. Then whatever's left on the brush, I dust away my highlighted because I don't want it too bright. Remember, we're going for a natural, everyday look. Okay. So next I am going to go into one of my favorite palettes. So this is from Sleek Cosmetics. Clearly I love it. So it has a nice contour powder, a bronzer, and then a highlight shade. And ignore my nails. But pretty nice palette. So usually I tell people you can either opt to bronze first so you can do your contour. I'm going to bronze first. So I'm going to use this big fluffy brush from BH Cosmetics. And I am going to go right into this bronzer shade. Now I bronze the cheeks. Just because you want to bring a little bit of extra color back to the face. And then I usually bronze the forehead. And honestly, if you were in a rush, you could do that and just go, pretty much. But I am going to add a little bit more definition by using the contour powder right there. And I'm going to use this angled brush. So if you've never contoured before, I usually go in the hollows of the cheek and blend it out. And then make sure that you get into the hairline just a little bit, because now you're all bronze and then your scalp looks light skinned. Now if you're into nose contouring, which isn't my thing, I do tend to take my little brush and then I pinch it just a little bit, or pinch, whichever. And then I do go on the side of the nose. How did I match my bronzer to my skin color? So usually bronzers only come in maybe 4 or 5 shades depending on the brand. So it's more so, it's not necessarily always based off of your skin tone. It's based off of how deep you want the perimeter of your face to look. So if you're my complexion, usually I would probably go maybe 2 shades deeper. And I probably would apply that rule to any complexion. And then there's bronzers with different tones. So you have bronzers that are more golden. You have bronzers that are a little bit cooler or a little bit more red. So it's more so just your preference. But honestly, there's not that many bronzers on the market for deep complexions. So you don't have that many options. One of my go-to bronzers would be, if you can find it, it's from CoverGirl, the Ebony Bronzer. They only have 3 shades in that one. And I usually just go for the deepest one and just use a light hand too. Which is another thing, your brush also makes a difference when it comes to your bronzer. Okay, so we're nice and bronzed and a little bit chiseled, still pretty natural. So I am going to go in with just a little bit of highlight. Since I'm keeping it natural, I am going to use the Bare Minerals Pure Radiance Bronzer. So this one's just going to give me a little bit of a glow. What brush do I want to use? Let's see. I'll go in with this brush. This is a Wet n Wild brush. So I just applied my highlighter to the tops of the cheeks. And because this is a bronzer that you got to tap out, I just tap in a little bit in the cap. And one thing you should know about me, Bare Minerals is my jam. Like, I am a Bare Minerals girl through and through. And then I do brush just a little bit under the brow and then above the brow. Now, because I am oily, like I mentioned, I avoid applying it on my forehead and too much on the nose. And I definitely avoid where my pores are a little bit larger. So, what I'm going to do is take my big brush and blend everything together. And I'm just going to go back in with my brow pencil. I hope you can see me. Okay, so for eyes, because we're doing something super quick and everyday, one of my favorite products to use is this paint pot from MAC. So it's called Deliciously Rich. So it's just more so of like this brown coppery color. I wouldn't say copper, it's more like just a rich brown color. So I just usually dip my finger in, or you could use a brush, and I just apply it to the eyelid. And I just tap that on. So I want the majority of the color to be on the eyelid, and then everything else I just blend it out. So that just gives you a little bit of color, but nothing too crazy. So I'll go ahead and do the other one. And just ignore any snoring you may hear in the background. Now, honestly, I would just do that. If you feel like you need a transition color or just something in the crease, what I like to do is go back in with my bronzer, and I usually apply that to the crease. So for my crease, I'm going to just use this blending brush. This is from Anastasia. And I'm going to go in to that contour shade, just a little bit in the crease. I'm all about using products multiple ways. So sometimes if I'm in a rush, I'll definitely use my highlighter on the eyelid. I'll definitely use my bronzer or my contour shade in the crease. Perfect. So super quick. I'm gonna blend that out just a little bit more. And honestly, this same color that I put on the eyelid, if you're in a rush and you want to do a quick smoky eye, this product is awesome. Just a brown to put on the eyelid, then maybe do a little bit of some brown eyeliner and smudge it out. You don't have to be too crazy with it. So next I'm going to go in with just a little bit of eyeliner. So for my eyeliner, I'm going to use the Stila. Now this part I'm going to have to get up close to my mirror. And what I do is I just go really close to my lashes. I'm not doing a wing or anything like that, because remember, pretend like we're trying to get out the door. Okay. So first one done. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just doing the line super close to the lash line. Now, for people that feel like they have more of a hooded eye, sometimes I don't do a liner up top. What I do is called tight lining. That's where you get in between your actual lashes and wiggle a liner in between the lashes. And that just makes them look a lot fuller. Some people, because I have big eyes, I can just go really quickly. But for some, you may have to lift up that eyelid and then really get in between those lashes. Now, for my natural looks, I don't do liner in the waterline. A, I have really, really sensitive, watery eyes. And then B, I just feel like that's a step that I don't necessarily need. But what I will do is take more of a brown color. Once again, I'm going to go back to that palette. I'm going to use this and just run it along the lash line. I'm going to use the double side to that same Anastasia brush that I had earlier. I'm going to use this smudging side. And I'm just going to run the powder along the lash line. Just for a little bit of definition. And I feel like it's more forgiving. If you are out all day, like say you're going to work, and you don't want to have to touch up, like your eyeliner runs or your eyes tear up, you don't want to have to be bothered with black eyeliner. Okay, perfect. So, I'm just gonna blend everything out. Perfect. Got some brush hair on me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the highlighter from Bare Minerals that I used earlier. And I'm going to get a small brush and I'm going to put that in the corners. Now one of my final steps. Definitely got to have some blush. I'm using the Milani blush in Romantic Rose. And I'm going to use my same Wet n Wild brush that I used for the highlighter and just lightly dip it in. So this color is an everyday color. Like it looks kind of light, but it's really not. And I'm just going to tap that one on. Like this is probably hands down my favorite blush ever. Just because I feel like I can put it on with so many different looks. And then anytime you put something else on, go back and blend it out. Now to make everything marry together and blend a little bit better, I'm going to use the Mario Badescu facial spray, and this is chamomile lavender. So I normally do that step before I go in with mascara, just because it gives my spray a little bit of time just to set. And I think I want to go in with just a little bit more. Now, if you're oily like I am, what you'll do is you just go back in with a little bit of your setting powder and just hit those hot spots. So for me, it's in between the brows, the cheeks, the chin. Perfecto. Okay. So, next for our everyday looks, this is what I normally do. This is my favorite lip combo for an everyday lip. I do the Fenty lip paint, and this is Uncuffed. And then I normally do the Fenty gloss bomb on top. For lip liner, I'm gonna use this NYX lip liner. It's more of a deep brown, and it's in the shade Espresso. So I'm gonna have to pull up the mirror for this part. Yeah, NYX has some of the best lip liners in my opinion, especially if you're looking for something just a little bit more affordable. And I'm going to take the Stunna lip paint. And I feel like this color, these two colors are similar to my lips, just a little bit better. And I press them together. Yep, this is one of my favorite lip combos. And I go on top with the Fenty Gloss Bomb. Now, I will go in with just a little bit of mascara. So, my favorite mascara right now is from Benefit. This is the Bad Girl Bang. Just because it has a nice little wand and it definitely separates the lashes. So look at one lash versus the other. Definitely makes a big difference. Now if they came out with a waterproof of this mascara, that would just be awesome. And then I have a tip when you put on your mascara. Definitely apply it to the base first and then wiggle and pull it up. Perfect. So I decided I think I'm going to do just a little bit of liner at the bottom. So I am going to use more of a bronzy shade. So for my bottom liner, I'm going to use the Pat McGrath eyeliner in Blitz Brown. Okay, so this is my version of just like a quick everyday look. So just to recap the products that I used really quickly. So I primed using the Fenty Profilt'r primer. And then I also used the Tarte Poreless if you have large pores. For foundation, I used the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer. And I used the Fenty Concealer, Fenty Setting Powder, and what else did I use? Oh, the Sleek Contour Kit. This stuff is everything. So if you travel a lot, if you are more of a minimalist with your makeup, it has everything you need. It has your contour, bronzer, and blush. Oh, thank you, Katrina. So everything that you need. Blush, I used the Milani blush in Romantic Rose. And lips, I have on Fenty lip product. Well, what color is this? Uncuffed with the Fenty Gloss Bomb. This ended up turning out to be a Fenty face. Maybe I should change the name of it. But be sure to give my video a thumbs up if I taught you something, anything. And I also left my social media tagged in the post, so feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'm getting into YouTube, so I'm doing a few YouTube videos. But be sure to give me a thumbs up. And I'll probably try to do this maybe on Mondays. Usually I'm free. So let me know what times usually work best for you. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. And have a good one, okay? Bye-bye.